Good morning, traders, and welcome to 2019. So we are still continuing with the Bill Williams trading theory, and we are looking at the DAX at the moment. So looking at the DAX on the daily, there have been a little bit of consolidation most of last month. Well, I suppose it did move down, and what I want to do is just check whether this measured move target was hit. I don't think it was. No, it wasn't. Okay, so this move down, we had a retracement, and the second move down hasn't been hit yet. The other thing that I can see at the moment is that we are fairly... There we go. So we do have a pretty strong downward channel as such, and I'll show you now where that channel is. Okay, apart from this breakout of this channel, we're back in this downward channel here. Okay, so it's fairly significant. And the other thing that we do have in play at the moment is the oscillator is pretty much bouncing off the bottom here. We do have a piercing pattern, so this is a potential turnaround pattern here. The problem that I have is, I suppose it is kind of off a level. There is a level here that we've bounced off. But I would suspect that this next level down here is also something we need to pay attention to. So two levels here on the monthly are, the top one here is 10,450 and this bottom one here is 10,056. Okay, now the next thing we need to just be conservative with this head and shoulders. Okay, so you can see that head and shoulders target lines up with this level here of 10,056. More than likely round itself off to 10,000. Okay, so that's the one thing. Looking at the monthly, you can see it's pretty much a big break of the alligator, and the alligator has started to cross over. Okay, so let's just get to the 4 hour at the moment. So what I could ultimately do is that, delete that. There's my channel at the moment. So we are inside the alligator. If you look at the oscillator here, we have continuation diversions, in other words, move to the downside expected. So that is, oscillator creates a high, higher high, and price creates a high, lower high. Okay, while we're moving down. So that is diversions, and we are still below the 4 hour. Although the 4 hour, sorry, the alligator, although the alligator is starting to go to sleep, we are below. Currently, when I last looked, we were down. DAX futures is down 10,474, so it's down 1%. $10,474 is pretty much close to this level. 10,450. So we are currently busy with a gap down. Okay, the 4 hour, we are grouped in the overbought territory, so I would expect us to continue in this channel to the downside. So that's kind of my view for now. Just going to pick up on the hour just to see what levels I need to worry about. Normally you would, with a break above the alligator like this, you would expect us to test this break and then continue at least to the top of this channel, which would line up with the 200 moving average. And that may still happen. That may still happen. So that's kind of the play that I would be looking at. Now, where we are now, I'm not really interested in anything. I would be interested in a short off the top of the channel, so off 10 730. Okay, so that would interest me. Would be a pretty interesting short, because if I look to the left, there is a pretty big breakout here, and it lines up with the 200 moving average. However, there is also this breakout here that happened and was retested. Okay, and my next breakout level is pretty much going to be there. So it's this swing low. So it's 10,482. It's pretty much where price is at the moment. In fact, I can bring it down to this top of this bar here. Okay, so that's kind of some of the levels that I'm looking at. So this level at the downside is 10,475. And there is one more breakout level. Put that in, which would be this swing high here. Okay, so I think I pretty much sit in hands. The trend is down, so you should be looking for trades to the downside. There's nothing that is signaling a potential turn. So the safer trade is to short the DAX. Okay. Now, the question in my mind is whether we want to short at the level we're at, or we want to wait for a retracement. So Asia is down. I mean, Hang Seng is down 2.6% at the moment. Nikkei's fairly flat, and Korea is down 1.3%. Euro USD is flat, 1.14. So there's nothing really here. This could just be we could be just sinking a bit based on the Asian markets at the moment. I think oil's also down almost 2%. So that's also playing a role at this. But yeah, so I think for me, it's sit on hands. The safer trade is shorts. And when you're looking for shorts, you're looking for them from higher levels. So the easy way to do this is come down to a 12, 15 minute, 10 minute chart and trade it from there. So you can see we were above the alligator here. You can see that was a fairly significant trade to the upside from a daily perspective. If you look at that, now we had a rally, we broke through, you're expecting a retest, and then you got a break of these levels. I mean, long stop below the level here. Now what you have here is this big consolidation pattern. So if I just take this off, take the high time frames off, and say the level to watch is 10,532. Okay, so in other words, that if I look at DAX futures at the moment, we're at 10,478. So we have broken this level. So ideally what I want to see is a gap down, a bit of a rally to come and test either this breakout or the 200 moving average on the 12 minute, or alternatively come and test the alligator. If any one of those happens, there may be an opportunity for a short here, and then you just keep your stop above this previous fractional. Or in fact, you could keep it above that fractional, or you could keep it above this fractional here. So stop could be around 10,600 or 10,580. Okay, those are the two stop levels. Okay, so at this stage, it's looking like we've broken through those levels. We have to wait for the European Open and see what happens. So ideally what I want to see is a gap down. Maybe come and pick up sort of a previous breakout here. Just draw them in. Okay, so either this one or this one here. Okay, so guys, remember, just draw these lines in. Look for your fractals, and it's 10,500 or alternatively 10,474. As I've said many times, I really look at price. I look at what the patterns are telling me. Okay, so gap down, find some support on one of these levels, bounce back up to test this big break of 10,532. At that point would be my cue to be short. Okay, if this breakout happens and it just runs, then I'll be looking for a sort of a long from one of the lower levels to start with. But this is definitely for a sort of a medium-term swing trade. I think a continuation to the downside is in play, and it's going to be a break and retest of 10,530. Okay, so that's what I'm waiting for today. So I want to see a gap down. I want to see it find some support somewhere. There may be a bit of a long scalp, but then I want to see it come and test 10,530. If that test is successful, in other words, it comes and tests, and then we get a price action confirming that we're moving to downside, that is a long, sorry, it's short, listen to me, and your stop, so it'll be short from around here, and your stop is going to be a 60-point stop loss, pretty much. Okay, nice trade. Risk to reward. At this stage, I don't think we've got some downside targets, but I would definitely pay attention to these levels. So let's just get to the hour. So I definitely pay attention to call it 10,500, and I'd also pay quite a bit of attention to 10,474. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. This could also just consolidate. So in other words, come back down to 10,530, and then we bounce off there again to the upside. That is also a possibility. Just bear that in mind. We do have a bit of a double bottom here that has played out. So yeah, on the daily and the 4 hour, the trend is down. On the hour, it looks like it's changed over. So there's a lot going on at the moment. Before we close off, let's just have a quick look at the ichimoku. It may give us a bit more information. So 12 minutes, we are flat. There's nothing really there. 30-minute, we are bullish, but we could have a potential crossover happening. Okay, on the hour, we are in the cloud. We are bullish, but we are flat. So ticker span has broken through price. We had a crossover and we had a twist, so that is fairly bullish. Now, ideally, I want to see us pull back, and you see this level is fairly significant here. There's flat but a cloud, the swing low, and the next level that we have on ichimoku is pretty much Kijinsen, which lines up with this inside bar here. Okay, so those are the two levels there. If we look at the 4 hour, we are still very much bearish. So we haven't had a crossover. Look at the oscillator group to the upside. So, short is the right thing at the moment. At this stage, obviously I'd like to see us bounce off a cloud or something from an ichimoku perspective, but that doesn't necessarily have to happen. So, yeah, my bias is still to the short side. It could just be to come and test these levels here of 10,474 or 10,445, but my bias right now is definitely to the short side. So that's what I'll be looking for. Okay, so I think the safest bet is going to be to watch at the open. 10,530 is the level we need to pay attention to. So we're expecting a gap below it. I'm expecting a bit of a pullback or a bounce to come and test that break. And if that is successful, short, stop above sort of a 50, 60-point stop loss, and you should be able to trade this thing back down to at least 10,490, but pay attention to 10,490. It may just continue straight through it. Okay, so that's kind of my view at the moment. It is short, but we need to just wait and see what happens. And obviously, we are looking at a continuation of this channel. Okay. Okay, so that's it for me today. Hope it helps somewhat. It's The trend is down, so the safe trade is trading with the trend. If it does stop you out, then rather just wait and see what happens for the next step, because it is. If we look at the daily, we are kind of in uncharted territory. Trend is still very strongly to the downside, but we don't have any levels to the left to pick up off. Got a lot of congestion here, so it's kind of going to be a difficult setup to follow through on. So I think the first choice is short, trade with a trend. This daily pattern here is a little bit concerning because it is a reversal price action pattern. Okay, so but obviously I need a break above, pretty much a break above the high of this bar, or a daily close above it is what I'm looking for. So daily close above 10,620. It's 10,622. So daily close above 10,622 gives me a bit of confidence for moves to the upside. So at this stage, it's short, and I'm looking for gap down, bit of a bounce, retest, and then a move to the downside. Okay, pay attention to this previous swing low here because it does line up with the bottom of the channel. So that's the area that I would be looking to take profit. Okay, and that would form a bigger double bottom as well. So that's another bit of significance. It pretty much form quite a big double bottom on the 4 hour. Yeah, anyway guys, that's it for me today. Hope it helps, and yeah, keep those stops tight. And if you don't see the price action showing you an entry point, in other words, a candle pattern that is saying that the sellers are stepping in, then just stay out of it and wait. Remember, volumes are thin. We are still pretty much in a holiday period, so you can only expect things to pick up from next week. Anyway guys, that's it for me today. Hope it helps, and I'll catch you later. Cheers for now.